Hello BookTube, Sara here, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm coming to you with my April 2018 TBR. Yay, TBR time! So this month I have actually pared down the number of books that I have on my TBR. I think last month I had something like 20. I only have 15 right now. Yeah, 15 books. The reason I'm doing that, and I'm not trying to fill up my TBR too much, is because what happened, I'm going to talk about this more in my wrap-up next week, but a lot of the challenges that I'm currently doing, you don't find out what the actual prompt is for the challenge until the week of, I know for the Pass the Parcel, the new prompt comes up on Fridays. So you don't find out what that prompt is until Friday. And I may or may not actually have a book in my TBR that will fit that prompt, so I have to go outside my TBR and pick something else. So that's why I'm trying to leave space open, because, you know, I don't want to overwhelm myself, because in March I did have to remove some books from my TBR in order to fit other things in for challenges. So anyway, all that being said, as per usual, we will start off with the Romance Readers Reading Group April Challenge for 2018. If you are new to my channel, I will leave a link to that group in the description box below. Every month they do a monthly challenge, and they give you 10 prompts, and you need to essentially find books that fit those prompts. And as I've always said, yes, it is the Romance Readers Reading Group, but the prompts are so open-ended that you could really pick any genre at all and fit books into these prompts. So let me tell you about them. So the first one is A is for April. It says, read a book that starts with A, or a book whose author's first or last name starts with an A. And the book I'm going to be reading is Accidentally on Purpose by Jill Shalvis. I will be reading this on audio from my library. And it is book number 3 in the Heartbreaker Bay series. And it's being narrated on audio by, of course, the amazing Karen White. I'm very much looking forward to this one. Third in the series. When I'm picking these books, I do try to look at books that I'm already, or series that I'm already reading, to fit stuff into slots. So yeah, very much looking forward to this one. The next one is Olympian Gods and Goddesses. This is an ongoing theme this year, that every month they pick a different god or goddess and they kind of give you a prompt off of it. So this month is Artemis. And it says, Artemis was daughter of Zeus and Leto, and twin sister of Apollo. She was primarily a virgin huntress, goddess of wildlife, and patroness of hunters. She was an important goddess in the lives of women, especially when it came to marriage or young creatures. It says, read a book with siblings in the story, or where someone goes hunting, or where there's a married couple, or a goddess in the story. So I'll be reading Sisters in White by Melissa Foster on audio. This is part of the Audible Romance package. It is book number 3 in the Love and Bloom series, and it's being narrated on audio by B.J. Harrison. This is one that I need for my Stacking the Series challenge, so I am very much looking forward to this one. Challenge number 3, the Featured Author Challenge. Every month they do a featured author, and this month is Joan Johnston, and it says, read one book written by Joan Johnston, or any author with her first or last name. They actually give you some other prompts as well, like if she writes contemporary, you can read a contemporary, or, you know, if she's from whatever state she was born in, you can read a book that was set in that state. That they give you a lot more options than just the author, but I really do try and read the author because it is exposing me to a lot of new authors. And the book I'm reading by her is called Heartbeat, and this is also part of the Audible Romance package, and it's being narrated on audio by Therese Plummer. I don't know very much about this book, but it looks like it's going to be a cowboy romance, so that should be great. Category number 4 is April is International Guitar Month. IGM was created in 1987 as an annual celebration of guitars and guitar products to help retailers create interest in the guitar industry. Every April, guitarists and music aficionados from around the world gather physically, virtually, and mentally to recognize both the instruments and the talented musicians who bring them to life. It says, read a book with a musical instrument on the cover, or has a musical character, or has the letters IGM in the title in any order, or has a 19 or an 87 in the page count. So the book I'm going to be reading is Rock Redemption by Nalini Singh, another one part of the Audible Romance package. This is book number 3 in the Rock Kiss series, and as you can clearly see on the cover, that gentleman is holding a guitar. And this is being narrated on audio by Justine O'Keefe. I have read the first 2 books in this series. I think I read book number 2 in February, or was it even in March? I can't remember now. I'm reading so many books, guys. But I am really enjoying this series. It's about a rock band, and yeah, it's really, really great, and I'm looking forward to it. It's also very, very spicy, by the way. Category number 5, April 1st is April Fool's Day, an annual celebration in some European and Western countries commemorated by playing practical jokes and spreading hoaxes. The jokes and their victims are called April Fools. People playing April Fool's jokes expose their prank by shouting, "April Fool." Read a book that has a silly, goofy prankster character, or has a word with a double letters in the title, like fool, or was published in April of any year. So I went with a book published in April of last year, and that is The Chocolate Comeback by Roxanne Snopek. I will be reading this one on ebook, and it is book number 7 in the Love at the Chocolate Shop series. You guys know how much I'm adoring this series, and I believe this book features the twin sister of one of the girls from a previous book. So this one should be a lot of fun. I believe she used to be a very high fashion model in New York, but her career has kind of taken a downturn. So she's come home to kind of, with her tail between her legs kind of idea. And, of course finds love. So this one should be really cute. Next up, April 1st is also Easter Sunday. While considered the most important Christian holiday for many, it also has origins in the pagan world. In fact, some say the very word Easter comes from the Saxon pagan festival honoring the goddess Estora, called Estor. The goddess's symbol was a rabbit, so that's where the Easter bunny came from. That is true, as far as I know, from some of the reading that I have done. It says, read a book that has a small animal on the cover or celebrates a holiday in the story, or has all the letters of Easter in the title and or author's name in any order. So I went with one that actually has a small animal on the cover, and that is a kitty cat. And I will be reading, I love this title, guys, Silence of the Lamb's Wool by Betty Hechtman. This is an ebook I'm borrowing from the library, and it is book number 2 in the Yarn Retreat Mystery Series. So this is a cozy mystery series about a woman who runs a yarn retreat business. I read the first book late last year in October. I listened to it on my way to Rhinebeck last year because I was going to the New York Sheep and Wool Festival, and I remember thinking, oh, it's going to be so much fun to listen to the Yarn Retreat Mystery. I was not overly impressed with it, and it might have been the audio, so I'm going to read this one on ebook and see what I think about it. But these covers are just absolutely adorable, and I'm looking forward to this one. Category number 7 is April 3rd is Tweed Day. Celebrates the warm, fashionable woolen clothing that originated in Scotland, most often with the chevron-type pattern. The word tweed originally came from tweel, the Scottish word for twill, and after being misinterpreted by an Englishman, morphed into tweed. Seemingly always in fashion, tweed keeps you warm and looks good too. Read a book that has someone wearing a suit on the cover, or something warm like a coat, mittens, etc., or has a pattern on the cover like stripes, chevrons, polka dots, etc., or a book set in Scotland or England or anywhere in the UK. And I'll be reading Pregnant by the Texan by Sara Orwig. I'll be reading this one on ebook, and this is book number 3 in the Texas Cattlemen's Club After the Storm series. As you can see, he's in a suit, she's in a coat. Fits the category. This is another one from my Stacking the Series challenge. The most of these that I can get read, the happier I am. Category number 8 is World Health Day. Sponsored by United Nations World Health Organization, WHO, World Health Day focuses on a different health theme each year. It is an international event to emphasize and work on important health issues or problems with activities that focus on awareness, education programs, and fundraising to help with the health issue for that year. Read a book that has where someone's health is an issue, or with a character that is a healthcare worker, or has the letters H-O-W in the title or author's name in any order. I'll be reading Dancing in the Moonlight by RaeAnne Thayne, also on ebook. Book number 2 in the Cowboys of Coal Creek series. I read the first book last year. I really enjoy this series. I really like this author. And this story features a woman who has returned from Afghanistan, and she lost, I believe, her leg. And he, the main male lead, is a doctor. So I have this book for this category perfectly, because one is a health issue, one is a doctor. So that works out well. Category number 9 is April 28th is International Astronomy Day. Established in 1973 to promote astronomy to the general public, astronomy clubs and groups use this day to help teach the people about stars and other celestial bodies in the universe. Read a book with a celestial body on the cover, or with a character who is a scientist of any kind, or tagged as sci-fi, science fiction, sci-fi, or has clubs or groups as part of the story. So I was going through, I still have my list from last year of all the series that I started, and I like to pick and choose through those when I'm looking for books to read. I don't want to start a new series if I can at all help it. And I came across this one, and I looked up what celestial bodies actually means. And it's, of course, anything that's found in space. The stars, the moon, the planets, the sun, anything like that. So the book I'm going to be reading is Carolina Girl by Virginia Kantra. I'll be reading this on ebook. This is book number 2 in the Dare Island series, and as you can see, that is a sun on the cover sinking into the horizon. Celestial body. It works. And category number 10 is Reader's Choice. Pretty straightforward. Read any book of your choice. And I'll be reading Deadly Fate by Heather Graham, which is book number 19 in the Crew of Hunters series. I'll be listening to this one on audio, and it's being narrated by Luke Daniels. I am so happy. Luke Daniels started reading the Crew of Hunters series, and then I think near book 13 or 14 he stopped, and Phil Giante took over, who does a fabulous job, don't get me wrong. But I just really like Luke Daniels' narration, and I'm really excited that he's coming back to continue narrating. Sorry about the picking noise. My cat has decided it's time to sharpen his claws. Maybe he thinks I've been sitting here talking to the camera for too long. I don't know. Really, Bee? I'll be right back, guys. Sorry about that, guys. The next book is my TBR jar pick. If you watched my Anticipator Reads Rewind video, you know what this one is. And it is Gone Without a Trace by Mary Torjussen. I will be listening to this one on audio from my library. And it's being narrated by Emily Pennant Ray. And I'm looking forward to this one. It is a thriller novel, so it should be really, really good. And the last 4 books I want to talk about are part of my What to Read in 2018 challenge. This is a challenge from the A Million More Pages group on Goodreads. I will leave a link to this in the description box below as well, if you're interested in checking it out. Over the course of a year, you are to read 42 books. In a way, it sort of reminds me of the Read Harder challenge, where you are given all these different prompts. But in this case, it's a lot of picking stuff off your TBR already, which is great, because I'm trying to pare down my TBR as much as I possibly can. So anyway, some of the prompts, like I think there's 25 prompts in total, and some of them have more than one. You read more than one book for that prompt, essentially. Now, the other thing I'm going to mention very, very quickly, I'm not going to go into too much detail about this, but just to let you guys know, in case you're wondering, you're going to notice a definite theme to these last 4 books. The reason that there's a theme to these last 4 books is because I am participating and co-hosting another read-along in April, at the end of April, and I believe it's called Amish in April. It's the Amish in April read-along. And I'm hosting this with Elizabeth from Lizzie Faye Loves Book. She asked me to do this with her, and I'm super stoked. I have actually never read an Amish book, but I do talk about them with the Harlequin novels quite a bit, and I'm very excited to actually read these. So there's going to be prompts and all kinds of things. There will be an announcement video coming, I think, on the 6th of April, so next Friday. So stay tuned for that, where you will get all the information. Again, this is going to be a 1-week read-along at the end of April, so stay tuned for that if it's something you're going to be interested in. So I'm just going to talk about how these fit into my What to Read challenge, not how these fit into the read-along. So I will, again, talk about that when I do that announcement video. So the first task is sort your TBR to show 50 books per page and sort by number of pages, longest to shortest. Pick one book found on the first page. So essentially read a shorter book off your TBR. And the book I picked is Plain Pursuit by Alison Stone. I'll be reading this one on ebook. It is book number 1 in the Apple Creek series. And this is a love-inspired suspense novel. So it is a suspense novel that takes place in Amish country. Sounds really, really good. The next task is sort your TBR to show 40 books per page and sort by author Z to A. Read one book off that first page. So essentially now a book with an author with a last name that is closer to the end of the alphabet. And I'll be reading The Amish Widow's Secret by Cheryl Williford. This I will also be reading on ebook, and it is book number 1 in the Pinecraft series. This is a love-inspired novel, so I'm looking forward to this one too. I don't know why I'm saying that. I'm looking forward to all these books, obviously. The next task is to read any book on your TBR. Short and simple. So the book I picked is one that I've been wanting to read for quite some time, and that is Murder in Plain Sight by Marta Perry. I'll be reading this one on audio. It is part of the Audible romance package, and it is book number 1 in the Brotherhood of the Raven series, and it's being narrated on audio by Therese Plummer. This is another Amish suspense novel. Very much looking forward to this one. And last but not least, the last task is Click Explore. Choose 2 of the genres listed under My Favorite Genres, located on the right side. Click on the genre name and read one book, and read a book off of that list. So it tells you to pick 2, but this is a challenge that you need 2 different books for, so I'll be picking another book later on down the line. Now, I took some liberties with this one because I wanted to fit these books into my already TBR, so I didn't make the TBR too big. I picked Amish as being one of a favorite genre, and I don't know, maybe it will be a favorite genre. Maybe I'm going to start loving these books. And the book I ended up picking is Amish Promises by Leslie Gould. And this is another one that is part of the Audible romance package. It is book number 1 in the Neighbors of Lancaster County series, and it's being narrated on audio by Stina Nielsen. And this is about a man who comes back from the war in Afghanistan, I think. And I don't know if he lived in Amish country before he went to war, because I'm not too sure exactly if they can go to war. I don't know. But anyway, he's a veteran, and he's coming to this Amish community. So it sounds like it's going to be really good, and I'm really looking forward to it. So anyway, guys, that is my TBR for April so far. Of course, as I've said, now it is subject to change. I'm thinking all of these books are definitely going to get read, but there will be other things getting added. I did up my book goal for Goodreads for 2018. I'll talk more about that next week when I do my wrap up for March. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to these. So please let me know in the comments below, guys, if you have read any of these books and what you thought about them, or are there any books in April that you plan on reading that you're looking forward to? And like I said, guys, stay tuned next week. I will be doing the announcement video for the new read along with me and Elizabeth. And until then, guys, I will talk to you later. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.